Okay, so I'm going to be starting Module 8, starting next week or the week after, depending on what the school can do with the coronavirus. So let's talk about, of course, for warm-ups and stuff, we have very specific routines at Mike's, doing the spelling and the phonemes and asking the students, how do you spell egg? E-G-G, egg, E-G-G, egg. And repeating it back. We have very specific routines with gesture, Mike-style gestures. But for incorporating the standards, we need to know the Teach Now standards. Standard 1 will be for the first week. It's called Learner Development. The candidate understands how students grow and develop, recognizing the patterns of learning and development very individually within and across the cognitive, linguistic, social, emotional, and physical areas, and designs and implements developmentally appropriate and challenging learning experiences. So I'm making a lesson, and the focus will be about how to help about the students' development and how to get them from this point to this point, right? You're going to rate me based on the rubric, right? Insufficient, I didn't do it right. Basic, so-so, right? Proficient, I did fine.
Okay.
And outstanding, wow, sugoi. Very good. Right. So the guiding question, does the candidate use strategies that meet the student's cognitive, linguistic, social, emotional, and physical needs? Do I hit all those points? Do I meet all those needs? Right. The second standard, learning differences, really easy one to understand. It's just different students have different ways of learning, right? They could be emotional or culture, maybe even their own family's style, something like that. Or, do they learn with their hands? Do they learn with pictures? And the next one, standard 3, learning environment. So the candidate works with others to create environment that supports the individual and collaborative learning and encourages positive social interaction and active engagement in learning and self-motivation. So I feel Mike's has an excellent learning environment. I love the learning environment, and really good at doing the groups, separating into groups. Really excellent style. Then the standard 4 is content knowledge, right? Do I understand the most important concepts of the lesson and the tools of inquiry, the structures of the discipline, right? Do I understand how to do Mike's method? Do I understand how to do the lesson that I made, right? Standard 5 is application of content. So do I understand how to connect the concepts together to make the students think and be creative and work together, right? Standard 6 is assessment. Do I understand how to use different kinds of assessment? So the main ones that we're focusing on in my class is formative and summative. Formative could be anything like, do you understand? I understand from the students. Or it could be, Mike's method is very formative naturally. Like, how are you? I'm sleepy. That's very formative style. But a summative is kind of more like test, or how Mike's does the presentation. Presentation is very summative style, right? So then standard 7 is planning for instruction. Candidate plans instruction that supports every student in meeting rigorous learning goals by drawing upon knowledge of content areas, curriculum, cross-disciplinary skills, and pedagogy, as well as knowledge of students and the community content. So, do I know how to plan a lesson? Do I know how to design it like that, based on the students and their needs, right? And standard 8, instructional strategies. There are like different kinds of instructional strategies to encourage students to develop deep understanding of content areas and their connections. So I use different instructional strategies to help the students, right? And professional learning and ethical practice. So this one confused me a little bit, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure it's just using evidence to evaluate my practice, and if I'm making ethical choices, like good choices that don't hurt the students, or right, if this, especially developing a good relationship between me and the student, and also the parents too, is really important.
Yep.
Right? Okay. There we go. And last one, did I miss one?
No, you did the right one.
Okay,
Next is okay.
good. Leadership and collaboration. Do I have initiative? Do I try to come up with some ideas or things that will help Mike's English School and help the students as well, like this? And let's see. Oh, that's it. Yeah, so, and then if you have any questions about Teach Now, or how we're going to be making the lessons based on the standard.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay.